Okay, that's great. Yeah, demo time, Louise. So let's get started. I'm gonna first start with basically the same thing that Joseph has done in his online video already. Um, so I'm gonna make something like this, if that's okay. So I'm gonna start with the basic text layer. So I've made a background layer to make it more to get a little look and feel inside of my animation, and I've got an extra layer where are two text objects actually. So I've made a yellow one in the background to make a little bit of a shadowy thing, and I've duplicated the layer, copied and pasted it, and just shifted it a bit to the left and to make this design. And of course, to make it work with the Shape Tween option, we need to make sure that it's not text anymore, but it's converted it to shape objects. So I'm gonna select both my layers, and I'm going to hit modify and then break apart. And when you hit break apart, it will divide it into separate letters, characters. So it's still text, not words anymore, characters, but it's still a text object. So if you do it again, break apart or Command B on your keyboard, Control B, it will look like this, and will get that same patchy look like we did use last week. And now it's a shape which we can put the shape twinning on. And because of the fact that these two text objects are in the same layer, it has converted it to one object. So if I select all my characters, right click it again, I can say, well, I want to have every single object on a separate layer. And when I do so, it will grab all those keyframes and will put them right underneath each other on the timeline. So when I now hit the keyframe, it will select the whole letter inside of that layer, and etc. So I'm gonna select the top keyframe and the final one with Shift. So I've selected all the keyframes, all the letters, all the characters, and when you hit the Alt key, it will make a copy of your keyframes, and I can drag it to, well, let's say frame 30. And now I've got a duplicate of those keyframes. And of course the background is gone because it only exists in frame number 1. So if I want to continue seeing the background, I need to make a frame or a keyframe in frame 30. So I'm going to right click and insert a blank, insert a frame to make the backdrop visible again. And now I'm going to select all the characters again. Sorry, I'm not going to select the characters again. I'm going to select the keyframes again and drag them aside. Like this. My stage seems to be scrolling a bit, so I'm going to fit it in the window so it stays put. Of course I can select the characters itself as well, etc. And then what you do is to make it animating, select all of your shapes, right click them, and then create a shape tween, and that will make sure that the characters will move to the same location as they are put in on the final frame, on frame 30. And there's your animation, like that. And when your shape tween is okay, it will give you a green arrow in between of the keyframes, and when it's a dotted line, something is wrong. So you probably need to break apart the objects again to make it work. But if you see a straight arrow line between the keyframes, you've done a great job and you've got your animation in there. Of course, you can do this with drawings as well. One of my favorite artists from the past is MC Escher. Probably you know his work with his impossible drawings or his metamorphosis, and I've just selected some of the elements in his drawing to make a metamorphosis out of it. So I've made a new document with all the drawing objects in there. So it's just a rectangle on its side, another diamond-like figure, the salamander, butterfly symbol, a bird, and a fish-ish thing, which I want to animate as well. So instead of selecting them and putting them in different layers, we could also say, well, I've got all these objects in here. I'm going to right-click them, and I'm going to distribute them to keyframes, and that will give you a set of keyframes. I've missed out the background object, so I'm going to select my keyframes and move them one layer higher, and let's lock that background. So what distribute to keyframes does is it will give you keyframes for every single object and will put them in the same layer. So now if I add some extra frames after the keyframe, so insert a frame, or simply hit F5 on your keyboard, it will give you some extra space to do your animation in. So I'm hitting F5 after every single keyframe. There we go. And now all we need to do is make sure that there are shape tweens in between to make it work. So shape tween, and it will transform into the other object like this. And let's make some extra shape tweens in there as well. Right click, create shape tween. There we go. Oh, the last one isn't necessary because this is the end of the animation. But as you can see, this works perfectly. I think that that can help you when you're working with these shape tweens, is that you want to have some more control of the animation, because now Animate is deciding itself how the animation should transform into the other animation in the other symbol. But for instance, if I want to make sure that this point of the bird is exactly on the same place as the nose of the butterfly, you can add some shape hints to your object. And a shape end is something like a push pin which you put on your object. You can find those shape hints in modify shape and then add shape hint, and that will give you a little push pin. Let's do that again. Modify shape, add shape hints, and you need to drag your push pin to the point where you want to have it. Then go to the next keyframe where the other object is, and there you will find the same push pin again, the shape hint, and just drag it onto the nose over here, and that will make sure that that point will transform to the other point. So it gives you more control of your animation. So by mistake I've made two push pins, so I could also use the A one. They've got a letter, a or a B, So I'm going to use the first one that I've made and put them on the tail, and then go to the other side again and then put it over here as well. And the more shape hints you put in, the more control you've got on your transformation. So let's have some extra frames over here, F5 to make extra frames. Zoom out a bit, and that's how you can work with the shape hints. So now this is the animation. So I hope you like that way of working, that it makes sense. I don't know if there are any questions